You are listening to the Love Unplugged podcast, episode 86. On today's Self Saturdays, I'm talking about stressful days, or weeks. Those moments that make you sweat, swear, cry, get angry, panic, and get majorly overwhelmed. We all have them, and this past week for me was a doozy. So I thought I would share what I did to get through it, and hopefully it helps you when you have a moment as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. Hey there, I'm your host, Jessica Fergon, and I am passionate about doing the inner work needed to reach your goals. Let me be your guide as we navigate all the fears and insecurities that surface when it's time to step outside of your comfort zone. Along with my knowledgeable guests and industry experts, I'm here to teach you how to reawaken your life purpose and passion and create the steps to turn your intentions into action. Ultimately, my goal is to empower you to rise above those blocks holding you back and start living a life that you are worthy and deserving of. So come on, it's time to slow down, find a comfy spot with your favorite organic tea, and get inspired. Thank you for tuning in to the Love Unplugged podcast. Happy Saturday morning, loves. I'm so honored to have you join me for another Self Saturdays episode. Before we start, I want to share how I'm setting myself up for this episode. Today I am drinking Me Time from Wosh Wellness. It has been a crazy week and I definitely need to relax and calm my nerves, and Me Time does exactly that. I love that I never have to add any sweeteners to Wosh's teas. They are just perfect as they are. Also, in my diffuser today, I have Sage Wellness Yoga Blend going, the ultimate dose of calm and relaxation for the end of a crazy week today. Now, let's chat about stressful days. This past week has been one of my worst weeks in a long time. I honestly don't even remember having this many stressful days all in one row. Now, having a full-time job has so many benefits. I absolutely love it. I feel so much gratitude for the job that I have. It teaches me new skills that I can benefit from in my own business. It challenges me in amazing ways. I have so much freedom in my role. I work with an amazing team, and I have the best boss anyone can ask for. The list goes on and on and on. I can't rave about it enough. But every job has stressful moments, no matter how perfect it might be. There will always be something. And boy, this week, that was a moment for me. So I wrapped up my work on a very large, high priority and profile case, and I thought I was done. You know, that feeling when you're done everything that needed to get done, and you know deep down you did an amazing job, and now you're just done. You know, and you can get back to your day-to-day job with all those tasks that you put on the back burner. And it was such a satisfying moment. I even celebrated with a glass of wine and a steak dinner because I'm trying to remember to celebrate all my wins, whether they're big or small, with something. Then earlier in the week, at the end of the day, I get an email. And it's an urgent request that is not only premature, meaning that we don't have all the details to be able to complete it 100% accurately, but it's due in 2 days. 2 days! That night, I ate Mumgry chocolate pistachio almond butter straight out of the jar. And you might be thinking, big deal, everybody does that. But does everybody do it with their fingers? Now, obviously, the individuals that would have normally handled this type of request on this type of a project are over capacity. Because that's usually what happens at this time of the year. Everybody's on holidays, everybody's over capacity. There's lots of things going on. So there wasn't anybody available to do it. Now, don't you just love it when that happens? So if you know me personally, when I have a deadline put out, I stick to it. If someone says they absolutely need something by X date and they are a priority, you make it happen. You just figure it out. You figure out how to get it done the best you can, and you stick to that deadline. So I agreed to it and knew that somehow we'd get it done because that's just how I work. Now, it was my worst nightmare. Numbers, calculations, formulas, more numbers. I hate math, okay? I suck at math so bad. My brain literally shuts down, and it's actually quite pathetic that even I laugh at myself. And of course, the perfectionist in me hates to make errors, so you can imagine the level of pressure I was putting on myself to get this right. My stress level went up as time went on, as I couldn't quite figure out the data, which ended up being incorrect anyway, so it wasn't just me losing my mind, which was great, but still that kind of sucked. And then everything came to a blow on the last day, when I finally had a grasp as to how to complete this, and I was going to make it on my deadline, and then my software on my computer, so Microsoft Word, Excel, Outlook, kept not responding after I made edits, which means that you lose all your work. It kept not allowing me to save the documents. I wasn't able to open the documents after I closed them. My emails kept crashing. It was like the perfect storm of issues. I finally knew what I was doing for the most part, and my system wasn't allowing me to do any of the work. And time was of the essence. Like, I had literally like a few hours left to get this out. So you know the movie Office Space? You know that moment where they take, I think it's the fax machine, out into the field and they take turns beating the crap out of it? This was almost me at the moment, but I contained myself slightly, and I only slammed my fist so hard onto my desk that I sent everything flying. So obviously not my monitors or my computer, everything else was fine, but like my mug of tea went flying, like my papers, like everything went flying. It was pretty pathetic. You know, I'm only human. I'm allowed to have an emotional release when things are that frustrating. I'm just glad that I didn't break anything. You know, I did feel immediately better afterwards though, so I kind of get why they did that in that movie. Now, looking back through the week, I know that I would have been in a much different place if I hadn't taken care of myself. Yes, I had one outburst, but I am pretty proud for the most part of how I remained calm enough to focus on the task and to meet my deadline, which I met, sparing, I think it was 30 or 40 minutes, which was awesome. Now, I'm not always great at this, but I am learning, and I'm going to share what works well for me because I know I'm not the only one out there to have stressful times. So here are my top 10 tips for when you're stressed and you're overwhelmed, what you should be doing. So number 1 is make a list. Prioritize and focus solely on what actually needs to be done. Everything else that isn't an urgent need, put it on a second to-do list for the next day or for next week and just put it away. Then focus on one task at a time. So meaning closing everything else on your screens that is not related to that task. Clean your desk off of anything that is not related to that task and just focus on that one task. My second tip is to grab yourself a cup of calming tea. Now, you don't need extra stimulants at this point, especially for me. I know that coffee would have just made everything worse for me. I needed calm. So I definitely had a lot of me time tea this week, as well as the roasted dandelion tea, because my stomach tends to get upset when I am that stressed out. Now, if you do need a little bit of caffeine, I would highly suggest Welsh Wellness's Think Tea. It always gives me calm, clarity, and focus. So it's just the right amount of caffeine to get you going, but it's not too much where you're going to have a crash at the end. My third tip is to eat light and nutritious meals. So I tend to get a plate of snacks instead of an actual meal for the day. So I'll do up a plate of a whole bunch of fresh veggies. I'll do hummus. I'll either do like 2 eggs or avocado with some hot sauce on it. I'll cut up some cheese slices. I'll cut up pickles because I love pickles, and gluten-free crackers. For breakfast, I'll have like cut up fruits with a little bit of honey or cinnamon drizzled on top of it. And then I'll have lots of water throughout the day as well. So for these types of snacks, I don't get sleepy after eating them. You know, if I do have a big meal, I'm going to get sluggish in the afternoon and it's going to basically impact me for the rest of the day. So you want to eat something that's light and nutritious, that's going to keep you going for the rest of the day, that won't get you kind of brain foggy, if that's a word. Now, my fourth tip is to diffuse some essential oils that will help boost your mood and keep you calm. So I'm a huge believer in essential oils. I've grown up with them. I absolutely love them and I use them regularly all the time. So I always diffuse essential oils based on what I need during the day, what type of project or task I'm working on. So if I need to really get focused, if I need to be motivated and creative, whether I'm needing calm, I will diffuse an essential oil that will help me in that mood. My 5th tip is to crack open a window for fresh air. You need that fresh air. Honestly, it makes a world of difference. So definitely get that going in the room that you're working in. My 6th tip is to if you feel yourself getting to that breaking point like I did. Unfortunately, I didn't do this time, but usually I get up and I step away for a few minutes. So, even just to go sit on my bed in a different room and just to sit there quietly, close my eyes and just breathe in and out slowly, that really helps me. But you can go lie down for, 5 minutes or whatever. Go for a quick 5-minute walk. Go do a little quick meditation session. Just get up and walk away from your desk. My 7th tip is to ask for help or even have a chat with someone to talk through whatever it is you're unsure about. So I had several chats with different people to get a better understanding of what I was looking at this week. And I'm so glad that I reached out because I wouldn't have been able to figure it out on my own. And honestly, I wasn't expected to figure it out on my own. Nobody was putting that pressure on me, so I didn't want to put that pressure on me as well because that would have just heightened everything. So you have teammates, you have support team members around you, anything like that, reach out to them, ask them for help, ask them for advice, help them, ask them questions if you need clarification on anything. My 8th tip would be to end your workday at a reasonable time. So working late into the evening in stress mode is only going to end up in errors being made, you being even more stressed out and overwhelmed, and then it's going to impact you for the next day as well. So get as much as you can get done, but set a reasonable date to shut off your computer and reset. Otherwise, you're just not going to get anywhere. It's going to be very, very frustrating. You're going to hate it. You're going to make errors. You're not going to be set up for your showing up as your best self the next day. It's not in your best interest to do that. So definitely end the day at a reasonable time. And number 9 would be to end your workday with some kind of movement. So go for a walk in nature, not by a busy road, because that can be stressful, having cars and whatnot walking by, or even having lots of people walking by might not be good for you. I think getting out into the woods, into a trail where it's nice and peaceful and quiet and you have that fresh air, I think that's really, really good. I found myself in a much better mood and state after spending time walking in the woods this week. So I definitely recommend it. It is the best feeling when you come out of there. I also find ending the majority of my work days with a workout by Melissa Wood Health is amazing. She has no music playing for her videos. She talks through the movements. It's not all high energy. It's very calming. It's a mix of yoga, Pilates, using your own body weight type movements. And my mind goes completely silent during it. And even though it's a really hard workout, meaning that this is the only time I've really sweat in a workout, she really pushes you, my mind is just so calm. I just feel such calm and peace following it. So it's definitely a must for me to reset after my work days, especially the stressful ones. It helps me get into a better place to then come into my biz in the night. It definitely separates up the workday, but it helps reset my mind to be able to now focus on this. So I definitely recommend some kind of movement, getting out in fresh air, going out for a walk in the woods. It definitely helps you reset. Now, my last tip, the 10th, is to go spend time with loved ones. There's nothing better than coming home, or if you are working at home right now, opening up the door, shutting the door to your office, and going to spend time with loved ones after a long, hard day. You're going to have hugs and laughter, and you're probably going to have a good meal together. Maybe you'll have a movie night. Maybe you'll have some wine out on the patio and you'll watch the sunset. Take that quality time with loved ones and just really don't talk about work. Just enjoy the time together and just relax. There's just so many benefits in that. It definitely helps you reset for the next day, and it helps you kind of just release all of that tension and the stress and anything else that you have stored up in that body from the stressful day. So that wraps up another Self Saturdays episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and would love to hear your thoughts on these episodes. So are you liking them? Is there a certain topic that you'd love to hear from me on? I definitely want to know. I love connecting with you all, so please do reach out to me, share your thoughts with me. You can do this by either leaving a review on the episode itself or you can head over to my Instagram. My handle is @ProjectLoveCo, and then send me a DM. You can also connect with me through my website at www.projectloveco.com and sign up for my love letters, where you'll receive my best advice, practices, tools that I use to change my journey of self-discovery. So have a wonderful Saturday, and I hope that you guys take some time to invest in yourselves today. I'm Jessica, and thanks for tuning in today to Love Unplugged, the podcast. If there are any questions or topics you'd love answered on the show, head on over to www.projectloveco.com and share your request with me. If you haven't yet, go to iTunes and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with a loved one. Your feedback means the world to me, and the community we've created is what fuels our discussions here. After all, this is all for you. Join me next time for another unplugged conversation.